All right, Jake. There's a new Odd Jake watch, even though I let him pick from the movies I have.
Yeah.
Well, the three I brought.
I make Jake choose and watch.
So what'd you choose?
Yahoo Serious and Mr. Accident.
What's your predictions?
Should I read it?
Nah.
Well, I mean, we watched the trailer. From what I could tell, it was something about he ran an egg business.
Sorta.
So what I'm expecting is kind of 90s quality. Is that when it was from? 1999. So 90s quality filmmaking. You know, it's all got that kind of glow to it. But fart jokes, maybe poop joke, probably a sexy woman joke, and probably a lot of bleep, 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 like sound effects getting kicked and shit. That's what I expect. I don't expect it to be.
Are you gonna like it?
Maybe. If it's 90s enough and it doesn't get so bad, I might like it. But I don't think I'll watch it again.
We'll have to see when we come back.
Guess so.
So we just finished it, Jake.
Yeah.
They blow your mind.
Well, my stomach hurts because I ate too much sausage and
you did eat like every snack we bought, or that you bought.
Yeah. That's what I do.
So what's the movie about? General plot.
It's about a guy whose family only takes stuff apart when he was a kid until they said, don't have imagination. So later, he's working at an egg company. He doesn't like eggs. And the guy who was running the company, his brother comes and says, he wants to run the egg company. And kills him. Takes over the egg company. So the guy who's a maintenance guy, who's not allowed to have imagination, this is hard to explain. He ends up somehow smoking cigarettes and getting hooked on nicotine. And you find out the evil brother that took over the egg place has been putting nicotine in chickens, which gives them addictive eggs to make more money. And there's also a girl that is trying to contact aliens. And the guy who doesn't have an imagination falls for her. And they end up together. And the other guy ends up dead, like really dead.
Yeah. He's also the ex-boyfriend
of the girl.
Of the girl.
Guy likes.
Yeah, his death I was not expecting. I mean, he fell from really high up down the stairs, but when he hits, it just like it shoves half his body just into his stomach, pretty much.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So like, it was definitely like every cheesy joke you could see it was coming, and then it did.
Yeah, we called all of them pretty much.
Super obvious. And his character was just like, I guess he's all physical comedy. He's kind of like Carrot Top, basically. If Carrot Top and Jim Carrey had a child.
I was gonna say if Carrot Top and Pauly Shore had a child.
Okay, that's probably more accurate. But then he's not as wacky with his like actual acting. His acting is pretty deadpan. He just does like the overly silly, get bonked in the head and shit.
Yeah.
And then the girl who was playing the love interest was always dressed really weird.
She's kind of hot.
Yeah, just dressed really weird. And then she was living with a cop that had a huge ass who apparently liked to have sex with a dog.
That's what they kind of lean towards.
Yeah.
You also saw her big bare ass in the shower.
Yeah.
Pressing up against the glass.
So yeah, the humor was really obvious, but the thing I notice about a lot of 90s movies is that even if it's like really chintzy, like jerky stuff, there's always like this deeper meaning behind something. Like the Home Alone movies, I think about those because like suddenly it feels like something really great was accomplished. And at the end of this movie that's all about silliness, this weird hubcap he found flies up and goes into space. And it's like, even, you know, you wouldn't see that scary movie these days, something that actually made you feel like genuinely that was something important happening. It's about the music they use and about the presentation. So even though it ended up being like the lost hubcap of the space car, it felt genuine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, do you really?
No.
So, I mean, think about this movie in contrast to like a scary movie or like one of those comedy movies. Those are just like kind of flat, shitty all the way through. Even though this was like shitty humor and stuff and like the story was really hard to follow, it still felt like they were reaching for the stars. That's the way I'm going to put it. Is that every movie in the 90s was always reaching for the stars and dreaming of something better. Then we hit the year 2000 and we're like, oh no, it's just the same shit. Dar, 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 dar. And they just didn't care anymore.
So, fun fact, that's his third and final movie. He only did 3 movies.
Is he dead?
No. He did one in the 80s, one in the early 90s, and this was his last one.
Oh.
Apparently he'd only do movies that he wrote and could direct. I'm sure he was, because his first movie was a hit.
It was
Young
that,
Einstein.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna watch that one.
I don't own it. I assume people probably offered him lots of roles after that, but he wanted to write his own garbage.
But doesn't that make him more credible?
I guess, if you want to call what we just watched credible.
Well, I mean, at least he was true to his values.
I think we only laughed at the stuff that it was just because it was stupid, not that it was funny. Maybe that's what he was going for. Like, we just laugh at how dumb and obvious it was.
Yeah.
But we did laugh.
I mean, maybe he thought it was really like he was making the funniest thing, but maybe he knew how B movie or C movie.
I will never watch it again, I'll tell you that much.
He breaks everything except her heart.
But he does break her heart.
Oh, whatever.
That was like the whole thing at the end where she's like, "You don't put anything apart?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "Well, I'm leaving."
I always love movies that are like special features, original theatrical trailer.
And interactive menus.
Yeah, this one doesn't even say that.
Because I don't think they were interactive.
No, not very.
Does Jake give it a thumbs up?
I give it thumbs there.
About 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would say don't even bother.
Really?
Yeah.
What would you have them watch instead of this?
A Bigfoot movie. I don't know. Comedy wise, from the 90s, Heavyweights.
Okay.
All day, every day. Bushwhacked. Well, they're not really in the same vein. If you want a wacky thing, just watch Airplane, Naked Gun movies.
That's true.
Hot Shot. Those are wacky enough where there's people falling and shit.
Yeah, but they are technically better movies. Wacky.
Wacky, Jake. So Jake says you should watch it, pretty much.
Maybe. If you're really bored.
Or stoned.